Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for Conversation and Coffee, the show where I, with the help of overpriced, underused technology and mediocre video editing, will embark on a magical journey with you guys to discuss the beautiful things in life. With in this episode, a rather sad announcement. I have decided to drop the entire topic that was esports. A sad thing, if you ask me. This is due to the hard criticism I got on the vlogs and the content, and I found myself in a spot where I wasn't really coming up with topics that would meet for the requirements. So that is why I dropped it. Therefore, I will talk about something completely different. There is a similarity with esports, which is that it has to do with technology. But I want to talk about virtual companies today. When I was doing the assignment for working with new technologies, I got to read something about this, and I found it rather interesting. What I mean with virtual companies, that's what the topic for today, as you probably read in the title. Virtual companies are companies that are changing the structure in which they work, which means that in a regular company has a building where people go to, they do their job behind a computer or maybe something else, doesn't really matter, and when they're done they go home. That's pretty straightforward, no explanation needed there. A virtual company is actually a company that is changing its structure in a way that an employee doesn't necessarily have to be in a building but can do his work at home, and if needed have virtual meetings, maybe via Skype, maybe via the Google program I forgot the name of now. You know what I mean. So yeah, that was very interesting to me. There were a couple of articles that were written about they go back as far as 98, I guess. Which is quite some time. So the concept has been around for a long time, and I think around now is the time that it really starts to be a relevant thing. If you think about it, there are a lot of aspects that really benefit, that make it a really beneficial thing to do as a company. One of them is the flexibility you have in employment, because as an employer, you're really bound to the geographical position in which your company is located. So if you want to hire someone, it is important where they live. Some people might like desperate times now, so maybe that's not a good example for this particular time. But it could be that someone chooses not to work at your company because they have to move. Or they have to move, but it will change their life drastically, and that can possibly result in them working worse. But that's not needed if you have like a virtual company in its entirety. You can, in theory, you can hire people from overseas, which makes your the employees that you have more effective, because you're no longer bound to this geographical location, as I said. So you can just hire the best people from all over the world, which globalizes like the entire world even more, which is very interesting to me and a good thing, if you ask me. So yeah, that's the main thing that makes it so such a good idea, I guess. The other obvious reason is that you have less costs. If you choose to have an entire virtual company, so no building or room at all, then your costs are so much lower. You have no bills to pay in terms of the building you own or the ground or anything. The downside of this could be that people can't really meet in person that well. So that could lead in some jobs. I think that's not really what you want. I think companies that choose to go virtual, so to speak, should have like a really small location, maybe like a room in a big building where they can meet. with their boss or with their colleagues for once in every week, month, whatever. I think you want that. You want to keep that contact. So while it is a good idea, I think having actual contact with your employees or with your colleagues in person is pretty desirable, if you ask me. So yeah, that's one downside. And another downside I already talked about a little bit is that in some jobs it's not really desirable. I mean, jobs I think where like meetings have to be held a lot of the times, people can get like discussions can get heated if the topic of the meeting is about something really important and people have really strong opinions about them. You want a team that knows each other and that actually can understand where people are coming from, that want to collaborate with each other. And if you're always just online and there is the relationship you have with the people is quite shallow, that goal is quite hard to achieve. So that's, I think, something to be aware of when a company wants to go completely virtual. So yeah, I think it's something. I think it's a good development. I think it's very far away from actually being something common. Mainly because of the things I mentioned earlier. I think there are a lot of downsides to it that makes it less effective with the technology we have now. So, interesting thing. I'm interested to see how it develops, if it becomes a common thing. And yeah, we'll just have to see. That was my episode of Conversation and Coffee. It was different. I think you have been able to enjoy it as much as I did. I hope you keep watching and well, have a very nice day, have a nice coffee, and I will see you all guys next week.